So for today's session, we have things like, just a second. Today I'm just referring to one of the things that we keep handy whenever we are working on something. That is just for keeping our things in place actually. So basically, so far we have understood what are the kind of things that we need to perform maybe as an L1 security team member, and a little bit about how are these things maintained in the system. Like SU24 may or may not be in scope for you at the time when you join. That is like a advanced level discussion that we had. Also, we had discussions like SC93 and what is exactly SU25. So these are not basically L1 tasks, so to be very frank. These are coming up whenever a L2 team is there, or maybe directly when basis is creating, or maybe upgrading the system. Okay, and so taking the discussions I had for SU24, we understood that it has two USOBX underscore C and USOBT underscore C as the tables which are getting updated with the values. So what will happen is whenever you are giving a T code in SU24, the T code along with all the mapping for that T code will reside in USOBX underscore C. When I say mapping, that means all the authorization objects which are there, whether checked or not checked, they will be maintained in USOBX underscore C. And whatever whatever authorization objects has a check proposal as maintained, that will go into USOB, then those values will go into USOBT underscore C. So let's try to open these tables to find out what we have. So if I give the name of a transaction, say SU01, and I can click on execute, I can see that USOBX underscore C has all the authorizations object that were there. So total 56 objects are inside. So why it shows changed by my name is because when I installed this system, I did the SU25 for this system. So when I say doing SU25, I'm referring to SU25. I'm just referring to copy the standard authorization set from USOBX to USOBX underscore C and USOBT to USOBT underscore C. Okay, and this is nothing but whatever is there in SU22, move it to SU24. Okay, SU22, this will be having the values from SU22. Okay, so right now if I open up SU22 and I give SU01 there also, you will like whenever if I'm opening USOBX and only USOBX and I give SU01 and I execute, I will find the same set there also. So we will try that as well. So you can see 56 values, and this is last change by SAP because SAP has delivered this particular table. Okay, so this thing is clear, right? Now coming to USOBT underscore C, if I go to same and BT में देता हूँ. Oh, USOBX underscore T is not active in the directory. Why? Okay, active. I think I need to activate it one more time. USOBT underscore C. Sorry, I gave it wrong. And I give SU01 here and I click on execute. I see 37 entries. Why 37 entries? The reason is only for few or certain authorizations I have maintained check proposal. Okay, because we maintained only for a few authorization objects. maybe उस ऑब्जेक्ट के लिए मैंने मल्टीपल डाल रखे हो, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल p अंडरस्कोर t कोड के लिए आई हैव गिवन लाइक मल्टीपल 1 2 3 4 5 6 5 चेक प्रपोजल वैल्यूज. ओके, दैट्स व्हाई द काउंट इज 37. अदरवाइज अगर चेक प्रपोजल देखें तो बहुत कम ऑथराइजेशन ऑब्जेक्ट्स के लिए चेक प्रपोजल मेंटेन रहेगा. ओके, सो इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी कि जितने ऑथराइजेशन ऑब्जेक्ट होंगे उन सब के लिए चेक प्रपोजल मेंटेन किया जाएगा. इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट. आई विल टेल यू. सो लेट मी जस्ट SU01 अगर मैं यहाँ डालता हूँ, आई शुड बी हैविंग मोर वैल्यूज देयर. ओके, so basically this is check flag. So wherever you see cross, that means whenever that T code is executed, at that time that authorization object is not checked at the time of execution. If it is maintained as Y, then at the time of executing it would check for that object. I'll tell you the reason, I'll tell you the difference. For example, if I have L1 team and if I also have L2 team, L1 team के पास I have given access only to lock or unlock users and extend their validity. We have a lot of restriction, we can restrict that, and all the restriction that I am talking about is controlled by these set of authorizations. So L1 team के लिए जो role I will design, I will make sure that they do not get s underscore user underscore grp as change or create. That means I am actually restricting them from creating or maintaining their user group. So similarly, we have multiple authorization objects which can control if they can assign a role or not, if they can assign a profile or not, if they can change the password or not, if they can change the validity or not, if they can change the logon data. Logon data, when I say logon data, means the validity, password, user type, anything. There is also a restriction wherein they can maintain, validity or password only for dialog users. Okay, so these are several combinations that I can try out, to restrict their access. Now, once that restriction is done, at that point of time, so my restriction is in place, and L2 team ke paas mein they have like whatever thing is there, they have all the authorizations for that. Now, whenever an L1 resource is executing say SU01, at that time, if the system checks for all the authorizations object, because I have restricted all of them, then he would he would start getting error there and then and there itself. Because he's not authorized for change, he's not authorized for these things. So these things are not like needed at the first execution screen. Okay, whenever he clicks on change icon, at that time it should go and check that whether this is authorized or not. Okay, so whenever I have like change this check flag as yes, at the runtime, it would check for all these objects first. So let me just try to sort this. So you can see it has check maintained for 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 objects only. उसके बाद वाले it's not like it will not check, although they are necessary and they will get pulled for into the role. Okay, they might or might not get pulled. That depends on if your functionality is supporting those authorization objects. लेकिन ये वाले तो होंगे ही होंगे, and the corresponding values for whatever ये check flag yes यहाँ पे maintained हुआ इन 10 के लिए, the corresponding values will be stored in usobt underscore c. usobt underscore c. तो यहाँ पे if I just give this, okay, तो यहाँ पे you can see s underscore user underscore agr. तो यहाँ पे s underscore user underscore agr के लिए you can see two things. One is activity and activity group. Activity group खाली है. That means you have to fill this after you create the role. You will have to put those values inside. So similarly, you have multiple authorizations जिनके लिए they have declared it already. Okay. So this is how it is like controlled. based on the values that we have inside BSOBT underscore C and USOBX underscore C and all that. Okay. उसके बाद आती है बात, let's come out of the system. Okay. So this this is fine, right? So for a regular day-to-day support work, you will be doing user, again, I'll repeat that, user maintenance, which means resetting a password, locking, unlocking users, changing the validity of that user. And because creating the user, I'm not focusing on creating the user because that would be done through GRC, like usual case scenarios. Access control जहाँ पे भी implemented होता है, they usually they have access request management. Okay, so there they can you make use of that. Let me see if I can, although this is not a GRC box, but if it has some component, then probably I can show you the NWBC screen. Hmm. हाँ, वो मल्टीपल के लिए भी आएगा, दो तीन के लिए भी आएगा, तो भी यू हैव टू गो इन SU01 एंड डू इट. ओके. एक चीज और मैं आपको बताता हूँ, आई जस्ट गॉट रिमाइंडेड. ओ, उनके पास है क्या सेल्फ सर्विस पोर्टल? अगर सेल्फ सर्विस पोर्टल होगा, हाँ, सो सेल्फ सर्विस पोर्टल इज नथिंग बट अ टूल इन GRC. देयर यू दे कैन गो एंड डायरेक्टली रीसेट देयर पासवर्ड. ओके. सो हाँ, right. So if there is SNC involved or SSO involved, therein the users can directly log in into GRC. Okay, the users can log in into GRC, and वहां से they can use a password reset tool to reset their password. Okay, अगर उन systems के लिए भी they have SSO, then this functionality is also not needed. ये यूजर पासवर्ड भी चेंज करने की जरूरत नहीं है, बिकॉज दे कैन ऑब्वियसली जस्ट इट्स a matter of clicking one link and then they can log in into the production system, something of that sort. Okay. Hmm. Okay, now it's asking for service path. I don't think I will be able to give it because this is not a GRC box. I'll have to host a service. No, I can't. The service ICF path I need to maintain. I'll have to check how can I maintain that. Anyways, so acha. So the users can log into GRC and वहाँ पे they can raise request for themselves. So once they log in into the GRC system, the GRC system uh, will only accept their user ID as the user ID in the fields. Okay. So for example, they logged into the system and they click on create new access request. Once they click on that, the only selectable field will be the system and roles. Okay. When I say selectable field, I mean कि वहां पे केवल जो एंट्री करने वाली चीजें हैं, only roles and the related system. किस रोल में क्या रोल चाहिए, किस सिस्टम में क्या रोल चाहिए, only that they have to fill in. किस यूजर के लिए, obviously because they have logged into their own IDs, वो उनके खुद की यूजर आईडी के लिए होगा. Okay. And this GRC will automatically pull all the manager details, the organ unit that that person belongs to, what is the validity of this user ID, all sorts of things. GRC can directly pull in from the Active Directory. Okay. Acha, one more thing before we start into, support work activity one more time. Before this, so हमने पढ़ा SU10 is to change mass users. Okay. When I say to change mass users, I mean a similar change. Okay. जैसे there are users S1 to S10, for example. Now you have to give them role A to all the IDs. What is this? So you have to give role A to all the IDs. It's simple. You just go to SU10, give all the IDs, and go to edit mode and give assign this role to all the IDs. Okay, that can be done. You have to remove a role A from all the IDs. That is also possible. But when a requirement is S1 के लिए you need to assign role A, S2 के लिए you need to assign role B, S3 के लिए you need to assign role C, and so on till S10. So what should be the approach? Correct. So either you do it as एक के बाद एक, and for example this one is a very small request, केवल 10 users के लिए. How come if I give you 1000 IDs and I ask you to do this task, how will you achieve that? To address that, we have something called as cat script. So this is nothing but a screen recording functionality which can facilitate the assignments. Okay, so it will look like an Excel sheet. Basically, it's like a VBA script. बहुत सारे तरीके हैं इसको achieve करने के लिए. First is your SAP should be enabled with cat. Uh, just a second. Let me see if I can show you here. There's one check for cat. एक तो यहाँ पे होता है सिस्टम के लिए whether scat is recording is allowed or not, and one is at the GUI level. यहाँ पे भी एक होता है. Yeah, to run scripts. Scripting is installed, enable scripting. If I disable this, that then my script won't work. So that's nothing but a VBA script that we are talking about. तो वहाँ पे एक format में you have to just fill in all the IDs and then whatever roles those IDs need. Okay, and then you start off the recording. Screen recording आप on करते हैं and you just open up whatever system you are working on. Okay, so for example, if I'm working on this system, I'll just open up this system, go to transaction SU01, and that screen recording would start. And I'll just go to my Excel sheet, वहाँ से पहला user ID लूंगा मैं यहाँ पे डालूंगा, and then I click on edit, and उसके बाद अंदर जा करके I will add the first role, मतलब जो उस ID का corresponding role है, I'll just pick that role and I'll place it there and I'll save this. Once I save this, the system knows what exactly it needs to do. Okay. So it is not basically, doing it technically. It is more of a visual kind of thing, wherein it is just recording whatever action you did, where you clicked, what you did in the system, and it will keep it as a record. And then you have to replicate this particular thing for the entire sheet. So once you do it, it does all this taking from Excel, यहाँ पे डालना है, go to edit mode, again updating that role there and then saving it, and then again next वाले के लिए ऐसे it'll go on. So the total time taken, देखिए उसमें क्या होगा जो first, let me see if I have the email. Hmm, okay. What I'm talking about is I don't have it as of now. Anyways, I'll share that script. I have it somewhere. I have it somewhere, but I do not have it right now. So it's also cat uh, cat script. If you just look for cat script, you will also find these some of these people they have made like videos about cat, how do we use cat and all these things. Okay, so anyways, so what it actually does is it will just record the control. Like for example, in Excel we have formulas, right? So we can see A1 में जो भी कॉलम में डाला है, A1 वाले रो में जो डाला है वो ले लो, B1 में क्या है वो ले लो, and then when you copy that the entire selection, it just the formula just copies up. So this will on the Excel side, it will do the formula copy wala stuff. It will move to the next record, to the next record. On SAP side, it will do whatever was we did because there is no next record. It will just go and keep copying up whatever things it is doing. So basically, यहाँ पे it is not creating multiple users in the backend. ओके ऐसा नहीं होगा कि बैकग्राउंड एक जॉब सबमिट हो जाएगी एंड इट विल टेक केयर ऑफ द यूजर असाइनमेंट. आपको वो सिस्टम ऑन रख के उसके सामने बैठना पड़ेगा. So when I say आपको बैठना पड़ेगा, that means you can actually see it going from there to copying and pasting it here, then going here to again pasting it there, and then again saving it. So basically the time that is reduced here is nothing but the time which we take doing this process manually. Only that time is saved. मतलब यहाँ से उस पेज पे जाना है, वहां से कॉपी करके वापस डालना, एंड इट बिकम्स टायरिंग. ओके, सो इट बेसिकली सेव्स दैट टाइम. बाकी सिस्टम में एडिट मोड में जाने में जैसे मैं यहाँ डाल रहा हूँ, अगर मान लीजिए एंड इफ आई एम गोइंग टू क्रिएट दिस, अब ये जो टाइम चल रहा है ना, ये जो टाइम लग रहा है इस समय, दिस विल रिमेन सेम, नो चेंजेस इन दैट. Okay, so I can train my script to fill in my last name, first name. I can also train my script to give the user ID validity, also the logon password. If I want to deactivate it, I can record that, and then what is to be maintained in roles, I can give that. So all these things I can fit into my script and I can run that script. So basically my 1000 users might get ready by around 2 hours or so. तो बस इसको लगा के and I can just go for a break. और वो चल रहा है, सिस्टम में चल रहा है, and it's just happening. No, we are not. Means we don't bother about that much. I'll search for that script. I do not remember. It was some guy. नहीं, क्या मतलब, मैं समझा नहीं. हम्म. नहीं, इसमें हम रोल थोड़ी कुछ भी चेंज कर रहे हैं. इसमें तो हाँ, केवल इस असाइन करने की बात है. क्यों? यूजर को सेव कर दोगे तो जनरेट करने की जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि डायरेक्टली SU01 में हम लोग जा रहे हैं. इट्स नो नीड टू सेव दैट. VB script, let me search with that because I did have something. For VB, that email should be 2016, but I don't see it here. I don't know where it went. Anyways, I'll search for that and I'll share it. उसमें ये भी लिखा हुआ है कि what are the steps that you need to perform before running that script. So it's a good document actually. So I'm not sure whether where it is right now, but I will share that. Okay. So अभी जैसे ये एक रिकॉर्ड बनाना है तो इसमें क्या रूल मैंने ऐड किया, so everything is there in that Excel and it can just function automatically. Okay. So okay, this is okay. So basically, whenever there is multiple user changes with different changes, at that point of time, we can make use of ecat script or maybe VB script. So whatever uh, things is handy, whatever is system, what is allowed in the system, because these restrictions also basis put in whether scripting is allowed or not allowed, whether we means the system would accept scripting, VB or ECAT or whatever, whether it would accept it or not, it totally depends on the parameters that basis have maintained. Production में I don't think they would allow. ट्रेनिंग में यस दे वुड बिकॉज ट्रेनिंग में कई बार ट्रेनिंग आईडीज क्रिएट करनी है, टेस्ट आईडीज क्रिएट करनी है, मतलब टेस्ट सिस्टम में ट्रेनिंग आईडीज क्रिएट करनी है, टेस्ट आईडीज क्रिएट करनी है, लेकिन देयर एंड व्हेन इट कम्स टू ट्रेनिंग पूरा पूरा बैच आ रहा है एंड दैट्स नॉट ए वन टाइम एक्टिविटी. हर हफ्ते एक नया बैच आएगा एंड यू हैव टू क्रिएट दोज आईडीज इन द सिस्टम. So the best way is to set बना लीजिए 50 यूजर आईडीज का एंड देन एवरी वीक यू जस्ट रन दैट स्क्रिप्ट फॉर हाफ एन आवर 1 आवर एंड वो 50 यूजर फटाफट वो बना करके दे देगा. So whatever they do in that entire week, whether they are getting their ID logged or they are modifying some role and assigning it to themselves, doesn't matter. By the end of the week, once you again run that script, you can also tell that script to delete whatever was assigned previously to that ID and then assign the fresh role. So basically, you are telling that script to clean up those IDs and assign the new role. So that's quite possible. So in that way, it's a very efficient thing, right? Because you don't have to worry about those IDs again and again. कि हर हफ्ते यार मैं 50 IDs क्यों बनाऊं? It's not needed. It's just an overload. मुझे हर हफ्ते करना है and all, right? Okay, so okay, this part is done. Okay, do you know what is OSS? Online SAP support. So basically, what we do here is यहाँ पे क्या होगा? We have something called as service marketplace. Right. We have service marketplace wherein we have our IDs created. These IDs are basically they are approved by our customer, maybe like my client or maybe your parent company or whatever, and these IDs are approved from the the licensing part for that particular organization. So for example, if I've worked in like 3 4 companies, 4 clients basically, so for each of the client I had a different ID. The reason being each ID that we use, that security team use, has access to view the system data for our company. Okay, when I say this, I mean if I'm working for XYZ company, I should be able to see ECC of means the production system, say PRD system for that company. I should be able to see the QUA system. Means these are the system names I'm talking about right now. It's not just a convention that I'm giving. These are actually names. So BWP could be BW production system, and then BWQ is BW quality system, and BWD. So these are confined, or maybe these are the systems which are there in XYZ company. Okay, that's why XYZ company के लिए मेरी ID थी. My ID was something like this. Okay, it would be a good big number starting with S. Okay, उसी कुछ इस तरीके की होगी, 8 10 numbers होते हैं उसमें. And when I move on to the next company I am working with, say ABC company, there my ID is something else, and there they had instead of PRD, they were using conventions like PR1, QR1, uh, DW1, and BW1, BW2, BWT, something of that sort. Means I'm just iterating an example wherein different companies will have different systems. इसलिए I can't just have a generic ID on service marketplace and keep on adding or like removing stuff from my account. It doesn't work that way. So when your company change, basically your SID change. This is nothing but my SID. When I call SID, that means my login ID to service marketplace. Okay. So OSS is nothing but whenever we have a system issue in in our production system or maybe quality development, which we are not able to fix. So it could be a workbench kind of a thing which we are not able to fix, like some bug in the system due to which some error is coming up. So we report that to SAP. How do we do that? We go from the support portal, not basically security also. Means it's not confined only to security. These are SIDs. Everybody should have it. All the functional consultant, SAP consultants, they have their own SIDs. They can log in into SAP Marketplace and they can raise an incident to SAP saying that this is a problem we are facing in our system. Please have a look. Then SAP would come back. Yes. तो अभी कोई नया मान लीजिए एमएम में कोई नया बंदा ज्वाइन किया सो दे वुड कम टू अस सेइंग दैट वी नीड एसआईडी एंड पासवर्ड so whosoever is the approving authority in our company, maybe the security team leads, the security project like the manager level approvals will take secure those kind of approvals first, and then and we will log in into service marketplace and wahan pe we will request for a new ID for this particular user. So we'll give the user ID details, whatever is the name, the email ID, and kind of access that they would need. तो वहाँ पे access जैसे हम लोग SAP में रोल मेंटेन कर रहे हैं ना, similar kind of roles are there in service marketplace. Role is like raising an incident, viewing an incident, opening connection, maintaining secure area. These are the kind of roles which are there. तो कोई functional consultant होगा MM का या FICO का या SD का, so they would need access to view incidents and raise incidents. They will not have access to open the system or to maintain secure area, whatever. Maintain secure area is a work done by security team. Opening and closing connection is a work done by basis team. So once an incident is raised, SAP will come back saying that please let us know the system details and also maintain the secure area details and all these things. So once SAP is implemented in a company, the support portal is also given something we call as SAP routers. SAP router is nothing but a router which is between our SAP environment and the external internet. So Basis does this work. They also maintain the connector details in the support portal just for SAP to connect to our system. Otherwise, how will they connect? Because our because our network would be isolated from the external internet, right? So we need to secure our SAP systems. That's why we have an internal infrastructure, internal network, which is isolated from external, but through this router, they can enter. So we maintain the router details. We also maintain if there are like Windows authentication method, we can also maintain that. And after we tell them that this is the login credentials, you can log into our Windows server, and then you can log into the respective SAP systems. Okay. So they log in into our Windows server, and we as security team members, we will create a ID. That ID name in our system जहाँ पे भी issue है, मान लीजिए PRD में issue था, so मैं PRD के अंदर जाऊँगा, I'll go to SU01 and I'll create something like OSS underscore 001, something like that. That means this is a OSS user ID or OSS user 01. Some meaningful name, number or name I would give so that people would see this and they would come to know, yeah, ये तो OSS के लिए काम के, so OSS के काम के लिए use होगी. And this type is service account. Okay, so because it allows multiple users to log in, multiple logons are not checked here. Okay, and even the password, whatever you give, they can log in straight away with that password. It will not ask for password change, and the password won't also expire. So basically, we'll go into the PID system, go to SU01, create this ID, or if it is not already there, we'll create it. If it is already there, we'll just check the validity is there. So it should be kept valid till next 15 days. That's the usual norm. Next 15 days, we'll make the validity, change the password, and go and update in the secure area of the support portal for that system. So once SAP gets all these details, then they are good to log in into our systems. They'll go into the system, perform whatever activity was reported, erroneous, and then they would find it out, and then they would suggest if this can be fixed directly in production. If they want a TR to be generated, they want to use our development system or quality system to analyze the issue further, then accordingly we have to open few more connections to dev, QA, whatever, and give them IDs and similar kind of work they would do. This is all about the OSS things. This entire things which I told you about just now, this is all is what you need to know from security standpoint for OSS. Any doubt anywhere on OSS? Because I can't show you anything right now, because even right now I don't have any SIDs available for me. Support dot sap.com. So this is their website. I can click here and I can log in. But how do I log in? This is not a valid account. It should start with something like this. But right now I don't have it, so I can't log in. So here, if you just see यहाँ पे you can see my support. My support में you will have incidents. User administration you can go and do here. You can generate license keys. Okay, coming to license keys, that's another thing. Anyways, you can go and see system installation data, whatever systems are there in your company scope. You can also search for notes, SAP notes. When I say SAP note, that is nothing but a bug fix that was already a known issue. Okay, and then we have what else? नोट्स पे अभी हम लोग आते हैं इस पे लाइसेंस कीज पे अभी हम लोग बाद में आते हैं एंड reporting an incident, obviously we have to create an incident to SAP to make them understand about the issues that we are having. So reporting an incident, you can go and search for whatever incidents were open in for SAP to look at. And there are also software downloads option wherein you can download SAP. So if I just go here and download SAP, when I say download SAP, I can also download the server installers. So like now I have like installed IDES, right? Oh, okay. Oh, lucky it didn't stop. Okay, since I have installed SAP IDES, I got these installers from SAP. So basically these are the two installer files that I got, a total of 3.47 GBs. So it's not usually like this. यहाँ पे they have segregated like 3.37 GB एक file and 100 MB another file. It's not usually like that. It should be like 2.5 MB एक file होगा and another 2.5 MB दूसरा file होगा. I don't know why they made it this way. Maybe because it is just a trial version and that's why. And then I have to extract them to another folder and then I can run the installation. I can go to installation master. I am Windows i38 and I can run the SAP INST. This is the file that is used for installation. In basis, they have this the entire thing. Then they will keep this software onto the server and then they will run the installation. So that takes around good, I mean, just for the trial itself, it took around 9 hours to finish. So that's a huge software actually. So it is actually consuming a lot of resources. Initially, I had only 20 GBs filled up because of my Windows. Now I have what 460 minus a 380, around 80 GBs filled up because just because of SAP. So 20 GBs was already there, another 60 GBs it took, 50 GB just for the database to expand. And this is just Max DB, not even Oracle. So you can imagine it's a huge software to install, and that's why only servers are like they are best machines to work on. Anyways, coming back to our discussion. So OSS user one, like this is a generic ID which we usually have. So we will have multiple IDs, not just one ID, because if there are multiple, issues, we can at least have multiple user IDs for that matter. This again would be of service type OSS 3, whatever, and so on. The list is you can understand. So okay, this is done, and okay. Apart from this, so हमारे पास में role maintenance हो गया. Anything you any doubts on role maintenance, user maintenance, role maintenance? No doubts, right? Everything is clear when it comes to user maintenance, because user maintenance I'm not focusing much because उसका request एकदम simple है. Even though GRC is not there, then also simple straight होता है. So what you have to do is, in अगर user maintenance GRC नहीं है, so you get a request from the user. Okay, first is get a request. उस रिक्वेस्ट में लाइक इफ ए मैनुअल प्रोसेस होगा तो उन्होंने कुछ एक्सेल वेक्सेल का कुछ फॉर्म बनाया होगा वेयर इन दे कैन सिलेक्ट सम रोल्स कि ये रोल मुझको चाहिए इन these systems. So you will get a request along with a form. So I'll just along with the form, along with access form, along with access form. तो जब access form रहेगा वहाँ पे, and then based on that form you have to assign those roles. So first you need to get approvals. तो पहला अप्रूवल रहेगा इस यूजर के लाइन मैनेजर से. So first level of approval, line manager. Second level approval, role owner या फिर controller. Yeah, I'll just write as approver. Role owner or role approver, okay. And then there's a third check, SODs. You know what are SODs? So it's segregation of duties. What actually it means, do you know that? What exactly is segregation means? What are we segregating here? Hmm. Hmm. What kind of conflict would that be? This is more of like technical, language that we can say. Two or more transactions creating a conflict. And I know, risk cannot be just confined to two or more transactions. A single transaction can be a risk also. Yeah, that is called critical action. So what basically is SOD? What are we segregating? So keeping technical terms aside, like not going into technical detail कि अगर conflicting transaction है तो conflict क्या है? For understanding that, if in a business process we have multiple things to do, okay, like taking a very simple example, creating a purchase order, okay. There is a process. First you create a purchase order. For that, let's start from right from the beginning. So there is somebody who has requested for something. So पहला step है creating a requisition. Then there is something to create a purchase order. Then there is something to receive goods. Then there is something to the orders, approve the purchase order. Okay, ये goods receive इसके बाद में आएगा. Okay. So what if I, so these are different duties. Requisition will be with transaction something, and creating PO would be with transaction something. Approving the PO would be transaction something else, and receiving good would be in SAP, it would be some other transaction. Okay. So these are the four different kind of duties. Now the problem is, if I have in my plant, if I have one guy whom I assign all this access कि यार तुम ही request करते हो, तुम ही PO generate करते हो, and then you also approve that just to, you know, save my money on extra resources. I'm actually creating a lot of risk in my system. Now the risk in the system is, this guy can anytime screw up the entire process. What he can do is, मुझको आज एक say एक LED TV खरीदना है. Okay. This is not company related at all. This guy has all the authorities to create a request, create a purchase order, approve the purchase order, and receive goods as well. He can just go and create a request for buying a LED TV, maybe like 50 inches TV मुझे खरीदना है, and then he'll create a purchase order for that. He'll approve that purchase order because there is nobody to check it, right? He'll approve that purchase order and he'll place an order and he'll receive the goods और सीधा घर ले गया. So this is actually creating a financial loss to the company, and that's why we segregate this duty among different people. So that is nothing but segregation of duties. Okay. So in a business process, when we have multiple, uh, things involved, there we need to segregate those duties to different people. No two duties will be given to a single authority. For example, if I give requisition and approve authority to one guy, okay, then this guy can also uh, include the other guy in his fraudulent activity. He'll say, I'll request for two LEDs. You just approve that. You just create a PO for that. I'll approve it. एक तुम ले जाना, एक मैं ले जाऊंगा. So that is again a risk, right? That's why requisition एक अलग बंदे के पास में होगा, creating a PO एक अलग बंदे के पास में होगा, approving will be done by a manager, and receiving goods will be another department that will do it. Okay, this is called a segregation of duties. This is in a business scenario. Okay, so this is the meaning of segregation of duties. So when I say segregation of duties, checking for a segregation of duties, whether the new roles which are requested in our scenario, it was a new request that has come up, right? A new user has requested for some roles. Okay, तो हमने पहले लाइन मैनेजर का अप्रूवल लिया, सेकंड लेवल से पहले ही हम इसको भी चेक कर सकते हैं एसओडी के लिए. इनफैक्ट इसको सबसे पहले भी चेक कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज सेग्रीगेशन ऑफ ड्यूटी तो मैंडेटरी चेक है ही है. ओके, सो वाइल चेकिंग. यस. हाँ. So whatever has come first, we'll be working on that first. Okay. तो obviously once I've started working on that, आपको जब वो रोल असाइन होगा तो नए वाले रोल के लिए again you will get a SOD with the previous role. Okay. And ऐसा अगर मान लीजिए, अगर there are two requests coming from the same user, तो यूजुअली व्हाट वी डू इज हम लोग एक ही बंदे को असाइन कर देते हैं दैट यू वर्क ऑन बोथ द रिक्वेस्ट. तो वो दोनों रोल्स को उठा के एक साथ मतलब हमारे एग्जिस्टिंग एक्सेस से रिस्क कंपेयर कर सकता है, एसओडी कैन चेक. तो वहां पे वो एरर दिखाएगा. तो हम मैनुअली करते थे. द टूल वाज कॉल्ड विरसा. When GRC was not there, the tool was called Virsa, and when GRC got it came into picture, यही Virsa उन्होंने they took over, and then they created rule set. यहाँ पे rule matrix हम लोग बोलते थे उसको. यहाँ पे बोलते थे rule matrix, like this. And जब GRC आ गया, then we started calling it as rule set. So I got a hands-on on Virsa 5, 5.4, I guess. हाँ, दिस इज लाइक लॉन्ग टाइम बैक. और अभी उसके बाद में फिर जीआरसी 5.3 था, उसके बाद में जीआरसी 10 आ गया, देन जीआरसी 10.1, अभी जीआरसी 12 आया है मार्केट में नया नया एकदम। सो ऐसे है, दिस इज कॉल्ड रूल सेट। तो चेकिंग फॉर सेग्रीगेशन ऑफ ड्यूटीज, या सो यहाँ पे अगर अगर एसओडी आता है, ओके ओके, नाउ वील टच लिटिल बिट ऑफ जीआरसी बिकॉज हमने एसओडी वाली बात कर दी है। सो अगर एसओडी आता है, it will be categorized as low risk, medium, high, critical, these categories. So low or medium के लिए they do not usually worry because that could be like a very minimalistic risk. उसके लिए it's not required to put some control in place. When I say put some control in place मतलब उसके लिए कोई अलग से resources खर्च करने की जरूरत नहीं है। ओके, तो अभी वो उस पर आऊंगा कि क्या रिसोर्सेज खर्च करनी पड़ेंगी। व्हेन इट कम्स टू हाई और क्रिटिकल रिस्क्स, दोज आर हाईलाइटेड, लाइक उसको हम ऐसे नहीं कि उसको दे देंगे तुरंत। सो व्हाट विल डू इज विल फॉर हाई एंड क्रिटिकल विल इन्फॉर्म रिस्क एंड कंप्लायंस टीम, विल इन्फॉर्म देम कि भैया ये ऐसे करके एक यूजर का रिक्वेस्ट आया है एंड वी आर चेकिंग, उसको एसओडी आ रहा है एंड all the risks that it is showing, it's all critical or high type. Please let us know what we can do. So there are two ways to handle a SOD. Okay. तो इस केस में let's not go into that handling part as of now. इस केस में once I inform the risk and compliance team, they would come back saying that कि नहीं नहीं, we can't provide this access, please deny the access request. I can just straight away go to the user, उसको वो email दिखाऊंगा, भैया ये है, this is what I got from a risk and compliance team. They are not ready to give you this access. We can't process this request. Henceforth, I'm closing this request, and you can close it. Simple. If the user is still adamant and he's like, no, no, I'll talk with them and I'll find out a way, then you can ask them, then you can keep the request open and then you can ask them to connect with the risk and compliance team. So now it comes to how do we handle these risks? So there are two ways to handle. One is mitigate risks, and other one is remediate this risk. Remediate the risk. So remediation is very simple. हो सकता है जो ट्रांजैक्शन उस बंदे को चाहिए, वाई वाई रिक्वेस्टेड फॉर वन ऑफ द रोल्स, वो ट्रांजैक्शन से एसओडी नहीं आ रहा है, बट देयर इज सम अदर ट्रांजैक्शन उसी रोल में एक और ट्रांजैक्शन था जिसकी वजह से एरर आ रहा है। ओके, सो इट्स लाइक वो बोलेगा कि नहीं, हमारे जो मैं काम करता हूँ ऐसा काम काफी सारे प्लान्स में काफी सारे लोग करते हैं एंड सूनर और लेटर दे वुड आल्सो नीड दिस पर्टिकुलर रोल, सो इट्स बेटर दैट यू रिमूव दैट प्रॉब्लमैटिक वाला जो टी कोड है, जस्ट यू रिमूव फ्रॉम दिस रोल, इट्स नॉट नीडेड एट माय जॉब लेवल। ओके, so all this discussion they will go and have with the compliance and risk and compliance team. So what compliance would check is, will that T code be needed for this guy's job role? So this guy's job role is analyst. He's an analyst in that company. Okay. So for him, he should not have access to create a PO or maybe like something of that sort. He should not have an access like that. But जो role उसको चाहिए, that also has like display information for multiple tables जो उसको चाहिए actually, और वहाँ पे ये creation of PO भी है. So he's like, मुझे PO की creation की जरूरत नहीं है. All the analysts they are just having table access. मुझे भी वही चाहिए. And other analysts will also need this role. So you can actually remove that particular T code from this role and make it just for an analyst role. Something like that they would come up with. Then risk and compliance team they would analyze the situation. They would analyze, if we remove a T code from this role, how many users are getting affected, right? Because this role might be there in production. अगर production में है and users are using that particular T code जो हटाना चाह रहे हैं हम, then that would be a problem. They will lose the access and then they will come back to security कि भाई हमारा access चला गया, why did you remove it and all. So that's why we need a backing from the risk team, compliance team, saying that you remove this because it has less of impact. अगर हम लोग अपनी तरफ से remove करने लगेंगे, या हाँ, श्योर श्योर श्योर। Okay, no problem. अच्छा अच्छा, कल डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया था। अच्छा अच्छा, नो प्रॉब्लम। तो अभी वो बंद करेंगे क्या? ओके ओके, ठीक है। Okay, so basically, then they would analyze the situation. What is the impact of this change? If we remove this T code, what will happen in the production system? So if they feel that it is not creating much of an impact, they would say, okay, fine, वो वाला T code हटा दो, and then we can proceed accordingly. So अभी ये request user management का आया था, but this has got converted into role management का request. You understood, right? Why? Because there was some SOD and वो analyze करा तो पता लगा कि that's a false assignment. उस चाहिए नहीं उस वाले role में. That's why we can remove it और वो SOD भी चला जाएगा. Okay. So that's one way. That's called remediating. So removing the decode from the role. The reason why I'm telling you this is because this is the regular day-to-day work that you might be doing. Okay. Then the second thing is you can mitigate risk. When I say mitigate risk, that means the risk is there in the system. मतलब उस यूजर को रिस्क रहेगा, but that will be monitored. When I say that will be monitored, okay, huh. When I say that will be monitored, that means there would be somebody to see कि हाँ ये risk है and we know about it. Okay, so that will be like example, मेरा एक बहुत छोटा सा मान लीजिए plant है. Okay, I am the in charge for that plant. So in that plant, I need to create a request and I need to be creating purchase orders also. Okay, although we understood that creating a PO and requisition is two different duties, and maybe the risk is shown as high. Maybe the risk is shown as high, but since my plant is very small, I can't afford a new guy just for creating requisitions. I can't afford that. So that's an overhead because hardly in a month I create two requests and I just create a PO for those requests. Okay, you understood my point, right? So it's instead of investing like 200 or maybe 100, you know, man hours onto that particular request, or maybe hiring somebody just for creating requests, hiring somebody for a payroll of say $2,000, that doesn't make sense actually. Okay, that's why in my organization, when I told them this scenario, when I told the risk and compliance team that this is what situation we have, so you tell me what should I do? Either I hire a guy and incur all the costs to the company, or you allow me this risk, and there's my manager who is or maybe the risk team who's my in my local office, they can keep a check on what activities I do. Okay, this discussion the risk and compliance team would have from the team local to that guy. Okay, so वहाँ पे they will appoint a guy who will take care of what activity this person is doing. Okay, so that risk will be there. अब risk and compliance team वापस security के पास आएगा and then they would tell them, okay, fine, we are okay to mitigate this risk, and following will be the uh, risk monitor or maybe mitigation monitor, I think, and mitigation approver. तो ये दोनों बंदे रहेंगे एंड whenever he is using that risky वाला जो transactions है, whenever he is using those two transaction, we'll have a log कि उसने किया क्या, उसने क्या चीज रिक्वेस्ट किया, उसने कौन सी चीज का PO क्रिएट किया. So in that way, they are keeping a check on what activity this guy is doing. Okay. So in that way, they don't have to hire another guy. This is like very low level example which I am telling you just for clarity. Okay. So in such situations wherein there is a feasibility, ठीक है, उसको mitigate कर सकते हैं, then we do mitigation. Mitigation is nothing but that risk will be there in the system, but that risky ID, wherever we have assigned that risky access, that will be monitored at all time. So the mitigation monitor, that's a responsibility of the monitor and approver to see what this guy is doing. And if they see any problem is there, then this mitigation approver will request for removing that access. So they have that control. So this is like we have controlled that risk. Okay, although the SOD risk was there and that was a high priority risk, but we have mitigated that, we have controlled that. Okay, so okay, this like these are the usual things that you might be getting a hands on, you might be using every day in your organizations when you join once you join. Okay, so I think today we should be good because abhi this entire set is like complete. I don't want to start anything new so that again that will take another half an hour or 1 hour to complete, right? So we have understood about, okay, this was already in discussion, so I'll skip that. SU10 for mass changes and cat script for different changes in different IDs. Then we have user maintenance in GRC, that will come later. OSS, what is OSS? How does it work? And then we learned about how a user access request gets converted into like a requirement, a role change requirement, or a mitigation, depending on the business scenario, depending on the risk and compliance team's inputs. So these are the usual checks: first level of approval, second level of approval, and SODs. This is mandatory. Like SODs तो हमेशा करना ही करना है. Okay, SOD checks तो करना ही करना है. So any doubts on today's session? Okay, ठीक है, fair enough. तो मैं फिर इसको stop करता हूँ.